the chaos reign. And this is a special broadcast. Healthy Living with special guest, Minister EnQi. Broadcast May the 17th, 2022. And like always, have your pen and paper ready and enjoy.
The views expressed on Talk Real Solutions, hosted by Tyrone Thompson at TalkRealSolutions.com, are the views of Tyrone Thompson and do not reflect the views of TalkRealSolutions.com, YouTube, or etc. The content here belongs to Talk Real Solutions and its many contributors. Views and opinions expressed by all contributors belong to them and not TalkRealSolutions.com or Tyrone Thompson, the host, or etc. All data and information provided on the site is for informational purposes only. Talk Real Solutions makes no representations as to accuracy, completeness, correctness, suitability, or validity of any information on this site and will not be liable for any errors, omissions, or delays in this information or any losses, injuries, or damages arising from its display or use. All information is provided on an as-is basis.
In a world where there's crime, corruption, violence, murder, rape, theft, and all forms of atrocities that plague the world in which we live in today, what you're witnessing, we are living in a state of chaos, and it takes greater or extremer chaos to restore the order in which the world we live in today.
Good evening. Good evening, everybody. This is Chaos Rain here, and today, special broadcast. I have a special guest. A returning guest, actually. And as y'all know, we're going to talk about, and like always, the focus that affects a lot of communities across America, and we could say the world, but let's say for black folks, is our health. So the title for today's stream is titled, and I'll give you the title. Okay. The title of today's stream is, and the return, is your healthy living with one and only the Minister EnQi. Minister EnQi, please, if you're present, *6, 1. So I can see you on the board. Oh, I got you. Miss EnQi, you there? You hear me? All right. Your line's open now, Miss EnQi. Hear me?
Peace.
Okay. Sound a little low, but you can speak again. Say again.
Can you hear me now?
Let me see. I'm trying to check if I hear you good. Say hello. Let me see if I got you. Go ahead.
Microphone check 1 2. What is this?
Yeah. Let me turn up my thing for a second. All right. Say something.
Something.
Okay. I guess you sound good enough. But we'll go through as we present, and then anything else I'll let you know. But yeah, we'll work with this. It sounds good enough. What's good, Miss EnQi? Welcome back to the Chaos Reign show. And, I told you, I was gonna have you back.
Chaos Reign.
We had a little thing, but nonetheless, you are here now. And as you know, on the topic of healthy living, and we'll go on some other broad topics dealing with health, but really truly, because we are now in the generation of the 21st century, and as you know, we have slowly getting out of this so-called issue or pandemic, what you want to call it now. And my question to you, Ms. EnQi, what now for people that either take their health serious or have never taken their health serious, what people should be doing in regards to this healthy living now in this new uncertain environment is the question.
Yeah, I would backtrack and just, this is not a new, it's not a new environment. Nothing. This is So for the people that were following me locked in, when the pandemic happened, nobody switched. Nobody had to change. You didn't see me price gouging like a lot of these goofballs raising up their price of their stuff. And I didn't need to create new formulas or herbs or compounds for the pan. It was nope, everybody, this is what we prepared for. It was like a fire drill. We did this. We ran through this 1,000 times because the coronavirus family is not a new family of viruses. So the people that are this is like a new thing for them. That's just because they weren't as well-rounded in their studies as they may have pretended to be to make a few dollars. You know what I'm saying? But whatever school you come from, be it the dinosaurs and evolution or Adam and Eve in the Bible, you could bet your bottom dollar that corona was there. So if you believe in Adam and Eve, trust that coronaviruses was in the garden. If you believe in dinosaurs and cavemen, trust that them niggas was exposed to the common cold, and coronavirus. You know what I mean? So the large, more complex organisms don't precede the smaller, more intricate ones, RNA, DNA, and even foreign RNA and DNA, which we call viruses. Those are the fabric of the life that complex organisms grew out of. So they were here before us, they'll be here after us. But what I would say as a sidebar, I want to introduce my sister to folks, because I think with the, just
people should need to learn just a little bit more self-care, a little bit more, taking care of themselves, and just to start to spread their horizons. And she's got some beautiful skin stuff, and so I don't want her to be on here all night going in, but I do want her to introduce her. How does she get on? 6*61.
Don't worry, I'll open her mic now.
Yeah.
So,
and so she can.
Go ahead.
And so she can introduce her line. And now, when I say sister, though, I don't want people to think like we in the conscious community. So, I'm a black man and she's a black woman, so I'm saying like, oh, this is my sister. No, this is actually my sister. You know what I'm saying? This is my.
Oh, really? Hold on,
Yeah.
EnQi. I know. I'm not sure when we last talked, because if what I recall, you are Haitian descent, correct, sir?
Yes. But that's from my dad.
I'm not sure how many brothers and sisters you have, because I know we all know from. I've watched you for over the years, on you as the person that's the biological expert, herbal expert. I know anybody else from your family was also in the garden, the herbs, creating things as well. So mostly when I remember you is mostly what the works you have done. You get me? So to find that there are other family members that's in your circle that's also providing service and things that can help me, it's always a blessing, a fresh air person. You get me?
Yes, sir. Where you at?
Hello, everybody.
Hello. Good evening. Welcome. First time on the Chaos Rain show.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So as Dr. EnQi stated, I just got into it. I just recently launched my website, which is called Anai J. And the product is basically, self-care, so skin, hair, a lot of stuff for the face. Everything is homemade, handmade. So, everything is natural. So there's no.
Can you spell that, the website, for us? Can you spell that out?
It would be www.aniyahj.org.
One more time.
www.aniyahj.org.
Dope. Yeah, so now you can go into the products.
Yes, I have body scrubs, facial oil, facial bars for men and for women, scrubs for men and for women, beard oil, some bonnets, some shower caps, for black women like myself. At nighttime, we have to protect our hair, so satin caps, shower caps that's reusable, and it's really dope stuff, and it's amazing. And you don't have to worry about, chemicals breaking you out or anything like that. So far, I haven't gotten any complaints, which is a really good thing, and I'm really excited about it.
Interesting.
Yeah, I had to wait it out. I had to watch from afar to see. I had to let it cook for a little while to make sure it was real. And then, once I seen how far she had taken it, I was like, oh wow, yeah, she on another level with it. Okay, let me go ahead and share it with the family at large, and because it's I see she's really dedicated and taking it to another level. Something I could personally be proud of. Like, okay, yeah, that's fire right there. So and just going back to your question that you asked in terms of what do people need to be focusing in on, like you need to start to see your everyday things as certain key pieces in your line of defense. Meaning, when you washing your face, or when you're doing your exfoliating, or washing your hair, or just looking at your skin in general,
Right.
If anything that people can take away from this is no longer seeing your skin as an arbitrary. Your skin is an organ, and it's your first line of defense, because you can't get anything, bacteria, virus, etc. Until it breaks that barrier. So taking care of your skin and all that is going to provide a definite a wall of defense.
Okay.
What made you think about coming up with these things?
So actually, what made me even want to become an entrepreneur as a young child, woman, girl, I watched you and saw how, and this is and I'm being so serious because I can remember him. He'll have the computer on, the phone, 15,000 lights. He's printing out books. He's doing this. He's doing that. And I'm just like, in my mind, he crazy? He's printing out all this stuff. All these lights is on. It's hot in here. And then I'm like, okay, this is the first step. Taking your vision to the next level. I see him starting in his living room. I'm starting in my living room. So, just watching him and then, the people that I have beside me now, the person that I'm in a relationship with just push me, you got it, you could do it. Like, you have hustle, you have drive, this is what you want to do. So do it. And this is also something that it's named after my daughter. So I hold it very near and dear to my heart. So this is something that we built together based off things that we like to do for ourselves. So we like face scrubs. We like to exfoliate. We like, steaming and doing facials and all that stuff. So why not go with something that we love and then one day it can be hers? So that's how I came up.
Okay. Can I ask a question? Because you said EnQi, you always got to let it sizzle before it's ready to take out the pan. Doesn't normally that's the case for a lot of people that starting like their journey or they create anything. They always got to say, I must be the opponent first, or like they call it the guinea pig, see how it works on me, and see what effects it has on me. Give feedback, write down, and eventually maybe I need to tweak this in here until I got something that actually works properly, where it does, let's say, harm oneself. That's how it normally goes?
Nah, I would say everybody's got their own models and how they do stuff, and they learn from wherever they learn from. But if it's a question in terms of advice, like what I think would be most important, or how I judge, I'm more so looking at passion and love and why you're doing something as opposed to the actual thing. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody wants to be like an entrepreneur and come up with something just because that's the cool thing to do. But if it's not something that you're really serious and passionate about, that's really an extension of yourself, you're not going to stick to it. Because the one thing that's consistent with any type of entrepreneurship is problems. You know what I'm saying? Problems coming. You know what I'm saying? And even the absence of problems is a problem. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of times, this, when they tell you, I learned this in a seminar, and it was a crazy thing, because you hear like 9 out of 10 startup businesses, fail within the first 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
But what they don't tell you is that most of those businesses fail because they were successful. And you go,
really? This is new.
How does success cause failure? Because
I didn't hear this.
You might have thought that you was getting ready to jump out there, and I guess you was going to sell, CDs or whatever. So you get out there and you prepare to sell, 50 CDs, but you got 1,000 orders. So now that you got 1,000 orders, you can't fill the orders, or at least not in the time frame which people were expecting it. So, that right there can become, your failure right there, because now you got 1,000 orders, you only fill 50, you got 950 people thinking that you scammed them or you didn't whatever, and that right there creates a backlash that if you're not really like dialed in, you're not going to be able to, you know what I'm saying? Or you might not have that problem. You might have a great rollout, but then the products that you use as your basic ingredients to make whatever it is that you're making, maybe that company goes out of business. But you got people waiting for stuff. So now you have to find a brand new distributor for your raw materials, or maybe your raw materials are not a problem, but your packaging. You know what I'm saying? The packaging price doubles, or the packaging company no longer delivers. Like, it's just so many small little nuances that problems come in, even if the problems are growing pains. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't love it enough to, miss paying your rent to get your re-up, or get your inventory up, you don't love it enough to tighten your belt and miss a few meals for it, like you're never gonna make it. You know what I'm saying? So it's just you gotta love it enough to pass through all of the different trials and tribulations that's coming, before you can become like a brand ambassador in any kind of space. So that's more what I was really like. Okay, little sis, she's trying to do a little something, but we'll see what happens. You know what I'm saying? And then when it's like, you see the consistency, it's like, okay, wow, so this is really a thing. You know what I'm saying? This is something she's building with her baby. And, I want to be on the right side of history with it. So I'm down. I'm saying, but on the flip side, when you're going through your process of finding yourself, you might like me and my children laugh all the time, because I done had every job and came up with every business. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta, it's gotta be real. Something that's not something you're doing for money. There's got to be something you're really passionate about.
But it goes to show, EnQi, that a lot of people don't understand being an entrepreneur is not no easy job. If you're going to get into this entrepreneur gig or whatever, you better be not only serious, but you're passionate about it, because, like you said, which I didn't know, there is success around 3 years.
Yeah, and look, and just like that, right there, when you said, being an entrepreneur is not an easy job. That right there is one of the things that causes people to fail. Not understanding the difference between, like a slave and a master, or a worker and an owner. You know what I'm saying? Like, because if people are used to the 9-to-5 paradigm of job, they have this idea in their mind that if they do a certain amount of work, at the end of some type of interval, there's going to be a certain amount of money waiting for them. Mm-hmm. Well, that's the biggest shock to the system as an entrepreneur, because as a worker, you risk nothing. Yeah, and you have guaranteed money. But as an owner, that's far from the truth. You risk everything. You got to put in insane amounts of hours and work, and you may not make no money. Yeah, nothing's guaranteed to you. You know what I'm saying? So it's a whole another paradigm to really be able to live by the seat of your pants for like long periods of time, especially when the rest of the world doesn't work in that. Like your bills, they want you to pay them at certain intervals. Like every 30 days, they want that bread from you. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to hear about, the sales wasn't really crazy this week, or you might have children. You know what I'm saying? They want to eat every day. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so, being able to have uncertainty within, or certainty within uncertainty, or pull order out of chaos is kind of like what entrepreneurs do.
Mm-hmm. But EnQi, do you think that could be something that a man, a woman, or a young person could break out of? I'm not saying people should quit their job and just go straight entrepreneur. I'm not suggesting that. I tell people move to your own beat.
Passion is the easy passion to guide you. You won't need no books, no lessons, no tutors. Passion. If you love it enough, you're gonna stick it. That's where the love. If you love it enough, you're gonna learn everything that you don't know.
Repeat that again. You broke up.
If you love it enough, you'll learn everything that you don't know.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
because
But if
I
you
find
don't love it enough, it don't matter what you know. You could be trained by the best. You could, you can inherit the business from somewhere. You could be trained. You could be Harvard grad. Like you're gonna quit. You're not gonna. When it gets rough and it gets crazy, and then you get, you have choices to make. You know what I'm saying? Like you're just gonna be like, yeah, it's just not worth it. I can go somewhere else and sit down and put my 40 hours in, get my little bread, stack it up, pay my bills, and go about my business. You know what I'm saying? It's much easier. So, that's always my advice. Like, just wait. I just tell people to wait to become an entrepreneur until that thing that, like maybe God put in you, or it's just in your heart. Like, is this something that you're just insanely passionate about trying to do, until that thing reveals itself. Mm-hmm. Once that thing reveals itself, then it's time for you to become an entrepreneur. Because nobody else is going to believe in something that lives inside of you anyway. So the only way to express whatever it is that's your God-given talent or your dream or your passion, is for you to invest in it. And most times, when you're coming from nothing, you have to be a worker before you could be a boss, because you got to invest in yourself when nobody else will.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I like. I like that. Oh, for those that's calling the call. Oh, go ahead. You saying something?
No.
Okay. The call number for tonight's show is 717-908-1834. The access code 917324#. I repeat. The call number again is 717-908-1834. Access code 917324#. Today's subject: healthy living, with Mr. EnQi and her sister. What's your name, Miss? I might add you on. Nadine. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yes.
So before the diabetes questions and all of this stuff goes, when it gets a little crazy.
I was about to ask that. Damn.
I already know. So I want her to be able to say her website one more time. Then I let her go about her business. She got babies to raise, and she got business to run. So, give us that information one more time, and just give us the rundown of what's there, and then we let you go.
Okay. So the website is www.aniyahj.org. Or if you have social media, my Instagram is ANIYAH_J_products.
Dope. And what's there? The body scrub and what you say?
Body scrubs, facial oil, hair oil, beard oil, bubbles for the children. So it's men, women, and children. Children friendly also.
Hold on, bubbles for the children.
Yeah, facial soaps for men.
Wait, let's get to that. Wait, what kind of bubbles for the children?
So if you go on my page, it's a bubble soap. So basically you hold it under the water and you massage it under the water and your bubbles will form. So it's really dope.
Wow. So it's like a bubble bath. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
That's really nice.
Who else makes that? I don't think no one has ever made that.
Nobody.
Yet.
That's why that kind of like, that kind of caught me off guard. I'm like, wait a minute, that's some other shit right there. See, that's what I'm saying. Passion will lead you to create shit that nobody else got.
And also, I have soap bars that's on a stick. So it's called soap pop. It's soap stickles. So my soap stickles are soap bars, but they're on a stick. So it looks like an ice cream cone. But please do not eat it, ladies and gentlemen. It will not be good, but it will definitely smell good on your body.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for stopping by and sharing with the people. I appreciate it.
You're very welcome. I appreciate you for bringing me on. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
And if you do me a favor, I don't know if EnQi could do this. EnQi, let Knowledge, if you could send me the information, I will put that in the description or in the website. as well. And you can call, and you could probably hit me up on Facebook if you want to come back on my show for any further streams, Nadine. That'd be cool.
Okay, so I can definitely get the information from Dr. EnQi.
Wait, no. What's your Facebook right now so she'll know now?
My Facebook is Eric Rain. I'll spell it. Give me a second. It's ERIK Rain. REIGN. Some people want to repeat it. I'll give you some.
ERIKREIGN.
Yeah, ERICK. Sorry. CK.
Oh, CK. Okay.
Okay.
And Rain.
Ring?
No, Rain.
Yeah,
rain.
like not rain, like rain coming down, like rain superior, like. So Eric Rain.
Okay.
All right, Eric, she definitely gonna hit you up, man.
All right, good.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Eric. Have a good night.
All right, take care. We'll keep touch.
Peace.
Yeah, Miss EnQi, man. I tell you, man. Not only you deal with the herbs, but you're a well salesperson. People don't know that background that before you started doing, you were selling, like you're expert in it. Like people did not recall. I can remember back in the day, a few years back. You know?
Nah, man, I'm not an expert salesman. I just, you know what it is? It's just I'm relatable to people, and I stay in my space. So it seems like I might be an expert at sales, or I might be like super duper intelligent or whatever, but it's just really just me sticking into my comfort zone. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, a lot of people on social media now, like people be all over the place trying to make it seem like they know everything.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just not one of them people. Like I just stick to what I do. So I've been doing the same thing for so long, you know. I've already passed all of those bars, whatever they are. You know what I'm saying? Like, so there's studies out there that says if you do something for 7 years, you master it. Or if you do something for 10,000 hours, you master it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been doing what I've been doing for 10,000 hours times 10,000 hours. You know what I'm saying? Like 10,000. You know what I'm saying? I got 100,000 hours in. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing this for 30 years. You know what I'm saying? So if 7 years creates a master, you know, I'm 4 times. You know, like I just, you know what I'm saying? So I just been consistent with it. And again, not for any other reason, for just because this is my hobby. I would be doing this even if there was nobody to explain the information to. I would still be studying this, you know, course because I love it. My hobby is my personal passion.
Okay. Now to this diabetes again, and this is not something that's going to escape us as people, unfortunately. You know, I think most do that. Well, I'm not gonna say that because last time I tested about this thing with a special guest. You know, YouTube kind of hit me up. I'm not gonna deal with that nonsense. Where you know that it's kind of growing, and one thing is evident when this thing happened, this pandemic we had, it really exposed not only Americans but us as people in regards to the diet. Again, that a lot of people think they want to escape from, and think that, you know, even to brothers, because there are some big brothers, yes, and there are some big sisters, yes, and we think big is good, either in the right places or not. But over time, as we age and we continue throwing crap into the system, all it does is backs up and it damages the whole body, and eventually you got to go to the clinic, the hospitals and stuff, and they go and say you got this, you that, and then the whole world, as you know, crashes down. So the thing with diabetes, in your mind or from your take, what it is, what it has been, and is there any way really treating this or prevent this? My question.
Well, there's a zillion ways to prevent type 2 diabetes. the thing is the prerequisite is not in place, and if you speak to people that focus on like diet, they'll tell you the diet's the prerequisite. If you speak to people that focus on exercise, they'll tell you exercise is the prerequisite. If you speak to people that focus on herbs, they'll tell you that herbs are the prerequisite. But in all honesty, they would all be wrong. The prerequisite for your health is the knowledge of self. That has to be the starting point. Learning how your body works. You know what I'm saying? Like and I shoot myself in the foot because I could be like a lot of these other goofballs and just every time I get on the mic, package something for sale. But, that wouldn't be, that's just not the truth. You know what I'm saying? So the first thing that people need is information. There's no way to know what type of herbs your body needs until you know how your body works. There's no way to know what type of food to put in your body until you know how your body works. There's no way to know how much exercise or what types of exercise you should be doing until you know how your body works. So that is the first thing to know is how the body works. And nobody puts that time in. Nobody's interested in that. I just recently did a poll with my partner, Carly. Now, Carly is a white Canadian. I'm a black guy in Detroit, and we ask people the same exact question. Have you ever heard of melanin? And we get some people like, especially me. I was in Detroit. Black folks. I'm asking, yeah, I know what melanin is. I heard of melanin before. Okay, well, what is it? Nobody knew what melanin is. Not even black folks. Oh, it protects you from the sun. It's in your skin and protect you from. That's not that. That's not what melanin is. That's not what melanin does. That's not melanin's primary job. That's not. A lot of that comes from the fact that in textbooks, melanin has been classically listed as a waste product in the human body. So
are these medical textbooks or this is in general? In all textbooks?
These are actual science textbooks in school, in college, and in medical school. As doctors were graduating, coming through medical school, they were taught that melanin is a waste product. So there's not that much circulating information. And then, because our institutionalized academia didn't really put any credible or just any real information out. You had to go like underground, maybe holistic circles, new age, alternative, into those spaces. And when you get into those spaces and you start learning about melanin, you get a whole bunch of fairy tale gobbledygook about, alternate dimensions and all kinds of other goofball shit that's equally useless. So, there really wasn't that much information that was really solid out there at all. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to call out any elders, but, the only real solid stuff was coming from like Richard King,
Yes.
Richard King
had
some he put some serious work in, but, and I think that's why, by the time Dr. Sebi jumped on the scene, he was just like, nah, we're not doing no melanin, bro. Don't ask me no melanin shit. Melanin is bullshit. Don't talk
because
about
he read
melanin.
the book.
You know what I'm saying? Well, it's not just that. I think that he was kind of inundated with and frustrated with the fanciful gobbledygook that was floating around about fifth dimensions and all kinds of other, pineal, like just a bunch of goofy, like stuff that just wasn't real science. Mm-hmm. So, when you're healing people, like when you have people coming to you with that are sick, you know what I'm saying? You can't play. And a lot of times people get into these fanciful ideas, and that's cool if you're like in a black power paradigm and you're talking about, ancient history and all that kind of stuff. But when you're dealing with people that are sick, that, you know, like it's life and death. You can't play with these people, and you can't play with the people that love them. You see what I'm saying? Because they got friends and family. Like, you just can't play. So if you don't have factual information, you got to move away from that. You know, some of the euphemistic ideas that were floating around at the time just weren't. You know, that you get, if you don't know what you're talking about, you can do more damage than good. So I think in the space that he was in, he did a good job of really shutting it down and bringing it back to a space of science, and, you know, just trying to shift the consciousness back to the focus on carbon. You know, but you know, I've dedicated a large portion of my life to really trying to put those pieces together and figure out some of the things that just seemed to be like sitting right there in front of everybody, but everybody was just like a deer in headlights, stuck, not really trying to like even understanding that melanin absorbs light, right? If you learn your basic grade school science, you learn the laws of thermodynamics. The laws of thermodynamics states that energy can't be created or destroyed. So if you understand that, at the point where somebody tells you that melanin is able to absorb light, you have to ask yourself, what happens with the light that melanin absorbs?
Mm-hmm.
So right now, we're all sitting in front of phones. We're sitting in front of light. Like, what is your melanin right now doing with the light from your light bulbs that it's absorbing? The light from your cell phone that's going into your skin. What is your melanin doing with that light?
Laptops, too. And
whatever the light source is, whether it's the sunlight directly or any type of light, like, what's the process of what happens to that light when it's absorbed by melanin?
Ooh. Well, if it's artificial, then is maybe causing degeneracy? It's not real light? You mean,
well, what if it is official? What's the process? What happens if it's official? Let's say it's sunlight. What's happening?
Then it's charging up like a battery.
Charging up like a battery where? Like, how? Like, what? What's the step? Because a battery is for storing, right? So there has to be a discharge. So what's the process? What's the threshold?
Correct.
If it's charging like a battery, what's the threshold? What's the limit on the charge? And what happens when it has to discharge? Where does the discharge go? What's the next step? Like, what happens?
I have no answer to that. I should know.
And I found out that nobody did. Not the online folks, not the folks underground, nowhere. You know what I'm saying? And I had went through everything that was there, and luckily I started to find, like, jazzy melanins and T.O. Winsmore and some of the people that kind of were able to put some scientific underpinnings there. I was able to stand on the giants, shoulders of some of those giants. But, for the most part, we're talking about 4 or 5 guys that, were really trying to pioneer a whole culture. And, so, but yeah, I was able to take it to another level. It took a while, 20 years, but, we here.
Okay. Yeah, because so when I'm hearing, when people talk about this charge does this and that, but now you brought a different element.
Those are people that don't really know what they're saying.
Yeah, they don't.
They're just saying general things that sound right, but it doesn't. That doesn't mean anything. Oh, it's charging up. Like, oh, okay, that sounds good to somebody that doesn't know. You ask them, they're like, okay, how is it charging up? Where is it charging? What's it doing with the charge? What is it apart? Like, how everything in your body works in rhythms and it works in systems. So what does the melanin system consist of? Like, how does that work? And does melanin function in conjunction with the other pigments? What are the other pigments? What are the other pigments doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, how do those things function in regard to your immune system? How do they function in regard to your central nervous system or your ability to cognize and have memory and articulate? Like, how does it function in terms of your ability to move and, ground you in your space and keep your balance and gravity and just all of the various systems that you already know about. How does pigment fit in with them? You know what I'm saying? How does pigment fit into your cardiovascular system? Just stuff like that. Learning that the darker you are, the more of a melanocyte concentration you have in your heart. So the darker you are, the more melanin you have in your heart. You know what I'm saying? That was insane for me. Like just things like that. You find these things out, and then that will kind of keep you like that'll keep you charged up to kind of keep researching for another, 3 months, 6 months, 2 years, 5 years, because you never know when you're going to find a jewel in your research. You never know when you're going to find, get a breakthrough. That's not research. If you do, you know what I'm saying? Research is like you're looking for. You're not even looking for a needle in the haystack. That's too direct. When you're researching, you don't even know that you're looking for a needle in the haystack till you get pricked. You know what I'm saying? So you're just kind of following your passion again, and you let the truth take you wherever it takes you, and then hopefully you find some things that people can benefit from. And I've been lucky to find a series of things that have become of, the utmost importance in terms of where we are today with our health, and diabetes being like the number one killer of, colored folks around the globe.
Oh, now it's in the globe now. Okay. Because normally in Europe, they don't really consume the same, no.
You could bet your bottom dollar. Wherever brown people are on this planet, they're dealing with type 2 diabetes.
Oh, okay. I see.
So it's all over Africa, catching bodies. South America, catching bodies. Canada, America, Europe, UK. If black folks are there, type 2 diabetes is rocking them. Now it's a global issue, so it's not just black folks or brown folks. It's white, yellow, red, etc. But we have a 200% risk factor to everybody else type of body. So it's something that my curiosity just peaked right there with some of those numbers, because I know that the scientist Mendel, he kind of like was the scientist to determine what dominant genes and recessive genes were, and through his process it became well accepted that folks that are darker skin have dominant genetics, and folks that have lighter skin have those aren't the dominant genetics. But when you find that out, it gets crazy when you're like, wait a minute, so we have dominant genetics, but we have shorter lifespans. What the fuck's going on with that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Like no one's asking these questions. Like, I thought I was surrounded by scholars. Where are the scholars at? I thought these niggas were scholars. They arguing about Israel and Egypt 10,000 years ago. I'm like, nigga, we might need to update these conversations. We might need to start asking some real conversations right now. Like, how is it that we have dominant genes and we don't, and we got the shortest lifespan? Like, that's not a thing right there. That indicates that there's a problem going on. There's a disconnect, and not a disconnect where there's a big bad someone else. The disconnect comes from within. You know what I'm saying? It's not like groups of white guys that are getting my YouTube pages shut down. No, it's our black brothers and sisters that are doing it. It's not groups of non-discriminate white folks that are listening to drill music shooting up the neighborhood. It's us doing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we are our problem right now. We are our own problem right now, and it starts with ignorance. You know what I'm saying? When you think about drill music, again, when you have a group of people that are functionally illiterate, that's why the dropout rate and some of those things are all important, because we can't get into the science of the body if we're illiterate. We can't get into the science of sociology if we're illiterate. We can't get into economics or anything if we're illiterate. You know, and we become belligerent when we become aggressive in our ignorance. It goes to belligerence. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, if we understood, like if we paid attention to words and definitions, we would know, oh, drill. Oh, that's a military procedure. A drill is a military procedure. So why would we be creating drill music? Like that's what are we doing? Like, so immediately that would be like, that's not hip hop. I don't know what that is, but that's not hip hop. We don't do it's not military drill. Like, and then the drill music is accompanied with machine guns. It's like we don't make machine guns either. So. Yeah, so but you know, but it's it's the same old thing. You know what I'm saying? So we don't make processed food, and we don't make super processed food. Like we don't do those things. But because we're ignorant, we use those things and we adopt those things as our own. And so that's been another conversation that's extended. You know what I'm saying? And I was lucky enough, the other day to have a conversation with Young Thug's father on Clubhouse. You know what I'm saying? Where, Young Thug and Gunner and all that is like a big conversation now. I was able to, have a conversation with his dad, Jeff, and, just kind of clash a little bit, but respectfully, and get a little bit of information out of his dad, and just kind of see where people's head is at, and listen to some of the commentary surrounding, what people's thoughts are. And just see that it all stems back to this, a lot of it anyway stems back to lack of identity. Because if you don't have an actual identity, and I had to shout out Taj Tariq Bey too, because Taj Tariq Bey was like the first person to predict that, us identifying as black people is going to be problematic. It's going to be, a bigger problem than we think. And it is. It's getting crazy. So, you have Africans, they don't identify as black. Jamaicans don't, Haitians don't. People from it's just the American subculture of kidnapped people that don't really have a identity to tap into.
Well, I ain't gonna make no excuse, but I would say that to tap to identity, you have to really seek what your identity is, and
that goes back to study.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta study.
It lets you know how much people are willing to really, like you said, study and seek out just to reclaim that. Not many. I think majority of black people, EnQi, in their hearts, they think and believe they're white folks because they're American.
I think that the paradigm of black and white is a hindrance altogether. When I started to ask people, like, what is melanin, and realize that nobody knows, especially black folks. They don't even know what melanin is. A lot of black people and white people, they think that melanin is a black thing. So when I be walking around with my clothes like melanin versus diabetes, where they think it's like a black thing, I'm like, I had to educate everybody. Like, no, every person on Earth has melanin. There's nobody that doesn't have melanin. That's some of that stuff with that alternate dimension and all of the goofy shit that floats around online. And you start thinking, oh yeah, melanin is black people have melanin, white people don't have no melanin. Like, wait, how the fuck do white people talk? How do they see? Their eyes wouldn't work, their ears wouldn't work, their brain wouldn't work if they didn't have melanin. All animals, you know what I'm saying, have neuromelanin, or you don't have brain cells. Like, it's neuromelanin that is in the brain cells. Like, even that. Some of us, we hear the term neuromelanin, and then we hear brain cells, and somehow there's a disconnect between the fact that the neuromelanin is inside the brain cells. They're like, that's what's in a brain cell is neuromelanin. So if you have a brain, you have melanin. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It's like you have a nervous system. Oh yeah, then you have melanin. So anyone with a brain and a central nervous system, regardless to what their external skin looks like, has melanin. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's you know, it is just, that's what I'm saying. It's just even at that level, you know what I'm saying, education. So when I was preparing to start having conversations and teaching people about how diabetes affects the pigment systems in the body and this, that, and the other, I realized that I had to pump my brakes because niggas didn't even know what melanin was after all this time. I'm like, wait, what's happening right now? Okay, so white folks don't have it and black folks do, and so wait, so you think that you can smoke the Newports back to back to back and drink the so you think somehow your melanin is still special after all that McDonald's and quadruple cheeseburgers and 40 ounces of Newports? In your mind, melanin's working for you right now. I'm like, see, that's fucking insanity right now. I'm like, see, niggas yeah, none of that actual. That's all of these are myths.
I have to do this.
Like even calcified pineal gland, like that's a myth. That's not a real thing. Your pineal gland is supposed to be calcified to an extent because it's calcium crystals that are in the pineal gland that allow the pineal gland to do what it does. The same, like in your ear, you have calcium crystals in your ear that help convert sound into, you know, the signals that your brain converts into intelligible, you know, information. You have calcium crystals in your pineal gland that do the same thing. You know what I'm saying? But again, we don't know anything about physiology or anatomy or what the pineal gland actually does. And instead of saying goofy shit like, you know, the pineal gland taps you into another dimension with the DMT, and if you, what the fuck Phil Valentine said, if you snort crack or cocaine, you can activate the pineal gland. Like, this is the kind of shit that's
going on. Are you serious?
Phil Valentine.
I remember him. Oh, wow.
You can snort crack to activate the pineal gland and shit like that. People get mad with me and go, "Oh, you trying to disrespect the elders?"
I'm glad
like,
we
no.
step away from the medicine.
Phil Valentine is trying to tell the children that they can fucking use cocaine and crack to activate their pineal gland. Bobby Hemmett is saying that it's okay for, you know, anal stimulation from other men to activate your kundalini. And I'm like, no, I'm about these babies.
I remember that. I remember that from.
I'm about these babies. You know what I'm saying? I gotta stick up. Somebody's got
Bobby Hemmett. I don't know if it's Bobby Hemmett said that. I think Bobby.
Right, but I mean these guys are. But I mean these are guys are legends. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, this is Baba. You know, this is Baba Valentine and Baba Hemmett. And all
Bobby Hemmett had stroke.
I'm like, no, these are just older guys, man. That's all. These are just older guys. Ain't nobody Baba. Stop it, man. You ain't getting no title like that till I see you did something. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that to some other people sounds arrogant. You know what I'm saying? But I have people that came to me blind that I gave their eyesight back to. I have people come to me with weeks to live, months to live. That's, you know, live years and years after. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if that's where the bar is set for me. If you ain't doing nothing at that level, nigga, then you just another nigga out here to me. And your age is not going to give you a specific status to me. That's not going to give you no status. You're just an older person. You know what I'm saying? Just getting older doesn't make you an elder.
This is true. It's true.
You know what I'm saying? You got to put in some work. And if you put in some work and then on top of work you put in, you start telling kids to snort crack to activate their pineal gland, well, then all your work just went out the window, buddy. And your whole credibility is down the window. For me, you know what I'm saying? Because what you teach the children is everything. The children are our time capsule. You know what I'm saying? That's how our names and our DNA is going to go into the future. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I don't want to bang on the elders, but, you know, just make an example of why, you know, people just don't have the right information because people are working off shit like that. So when I'm trying to explain to people real shit about how their body functions, they got all these fairy tale ideas in their mind, and they don't get it. You know what I'm saying? Like excess blood glucose is not about eating sugar. You know what I'm saying? So people think, oh, diabetes, you're eating too much sugar. No, this has nothing to do with sugar that you're eating. All food becomes sugar in your body. Whether you're eating fats or proteins or chicken, all of that converts into sugar. So it's not about eating sugar. It's about the blood glucose and how your body handles the blood glucose. You know, and that largely has to do with your pigment system. You know, if you're getting fat, you know, that has to do with your pigment system. It's your pigment that melts fat in your body. So if you're getting fat, that already shows that there's a problem with your pigment system because it's allowing your fat cells to get too big. You know what I'm saying? And just all kinds of stuff, just centered around ignorance, you know, like insulin. Insulin doesn't lower blood sugar. And that's not insulin's job. Insulin is to make you fat. Insulin's a steroid. It's an anabolic hormone, which is super insane that you would give type 2 diabetics insulin because that's going to make them obese. So since obesity is like a number one risk factor for type 2 diabetes, it's impossible for anyone to ever rid themselves of diabetes using insulin. And, you know, anyone who doubts it, all they have to do is check the record. Just ask themselves or try to find anyone who has ever reversed their diabetes by using insulin. And they can't find one. Not one solitary person ever has reversed their diabetes using insulin.
Oh, wow.
Ever. Black, white, yellow, red, American, European, African, South American, not one person on this planet has ever had their diabetes reversed using insulin. Because insulin is not going to get you glucose control. It's not going to help you control blood sugar. That's not what insulin does. Insulin makes you bigger. That's why bodybuilders use it, because insulin activates the mTOR system in the body, which tells your cells to replicate, which is one of the reasons why type 2 diabetics, you know, often get cancer, because the high insulin, you know, activates that uncontrollable cell division, which is a hallmark of cancer.
Wow. Damn.
So just
EnQi,
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think some people said sometimes we thought the mic goes in and out. I'm not sure if you want to call back in, drop your line, call back, see if it corrects it.
Well, listen, we've been on for a good hour. No, listen. No, we've been rocking for a good hour, so this is what I would say.
Yeah.
You know, we have if people are really interested and they want to really get in and support the movement, they can go to patreon.com /Dr. EnQi. No, patreon.com /Dr. EnQi. That's where I'm at. I'm no longer on YouTube. Starting this week, starting Saturday, we're going to be doing diabetes clinics all day. Every Saturday, all day, we're doing diabetes clinic. And then starting the first week of June, we're doing a new 40-day fast to commemorate our success in terms of being able to really create a protocol of, you know, where, you know, we get to 80, 90, 100% success rate. And then, you know, we're going to culminate with a summit in July 10th weekend at the Hudson Valley Theater in Peekskill, New York. You know what I'm saying? So people can tap into the Patreon, and then, you know, you get access to the entire library of articles, books, and, you know, a decade and a half of articles, books, and videos. And, yeah, so it's going to be insane. But I gotta tend to these babies. We've been rocking for over an hour, so they say we going in and out.
You want to take one question from one person that called in?
Sure.
Okay. All right, guys. I'm only gonna open the line. Y'all gonna raise your hand in the next few seconds. That's it. But I'm gonna open one line. One person has a question. All right. First caller. Who's this?
It's me, man. You know, sis.
What's good, Gray? You have any questions for Ms. EnQi?
Yeah. Well, there's other people that identify as black. South Africans do, the black. Aborigines from Australia identify as black, and the Canadians do, and the people in Honduras identify as black. But I want to say something, man. This is an interesting topic. He's talking about diabetes. Very, very knowledgeable brother. I like seeing brothers know what they're talking about. But I've always wondered something, man. Us as black folks, maybe we are a separate race from blacks because we are sort of a hybrid race, like the Mexicans, Spanish and white people. And we do have a lot of white blood in us. 30% of us have white blood. I mean, most of us have 20%, 15% of white blood, Caucasian blood in us. So maybe we're a hybrid race. Maybe we shouldn't even consider ourselves to be black anymore. I mean, I know this is kind of some crazy shit, but we do have a lot of Caucasian in us. Are we really black anymore? That's something I always thought about.
So here's the craziest thing.
What
does that mean when you say Caucasian in us or white blood?
Yeah.
Like, what exactly is that?
That means that we might be a sort of a hybrid race, I'm thinking.
No. I got the general concept. I'm trying to get you to scientifically nail it down specifically because we might find out something here.
Well, I don't know the percentage of everyone, but we do, all of us. I mean, when I look at African people.
No. Forget the percentages. Like, what does it mean when you say white is mixed in us? What do white genes look like versus black genes? Or what does
it's different.
Look like
to me,
black
okay, it's okay. It may not be a medical thing. It may be a consciousness thing. I'm always into consciousness. It may be more consciousness because. Whites and blacks, we are different. Even though we are, 99% identical, there are differences in us that I can tell, the way we think, the way we go about things. The consciousness, maybe, will separate us.
So are those things? Yeah. So are those things genetic, or are those things social or education? Or economic? Like, are those external factors or intrinsic factors?
It might be social. To be honest, I'm not sure where we're at. It's just something we as black folks need to maybe start thinking about a little bit.
Yeah, because I've dug into these things, and I'm like, When I was in my neighborhood before I had really started to become a traveling man and moving around, and my view of the world was really small. And I thought that, a lot of things like that I saw in my neighborhood, I just thought this was black culture. You know what I'm saying? So, I got caught up in that. And like I was saying earlier, I spoke to Young Thug's father, and I'm realizing a lot of people still think that criminal behavior is black culture.
No, well, that's what they put out there on TV. And it happened in the 80s.
But without a replacement. See, without a replacement, though, a lot of us have something that may be different, but it might be equally as silly, even though it may not be that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I heard you saying,
we just don't have a scientific view of it. And it's like when you start to get a more scientific view, you kind of see the different, like, for instance, there's clear differences in physiology. Like mitochondrial differences, lung size. Like, there are differences like that, you know what I'm saying, that we can nail down. Blood values, differences in red blood cell, white blood cell count, like things like that. So those exist. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I hear you. Big time, yeah.
But then there are a lot of things that differentiate us that we may think are genetic that may not be. It's just social stuff or education levels or economic spaces, and you know what I'm saying? So
I actually think it's more social than genetics. I think we've been conditioned to be this way in many ways. But if you think about black Americans, which I am, if you think about the history of us in this country, we are exactly where we probably should be, consider what happened to us. That's something people don't want to talk about, though. Think about what we went through. Think about where we're at. We are actually where we were supposed to be. What these how we were, conditioned. But I actually thought about this. I watch like Nigerian TV. They have a channel called the Afro channel. If you ever watched it, and they have a lot of shows from Nigeria. 90% of them are from Nigeria. And I watch those shows sometimes, and I watch their mannerisms, the Nigerians, and they aren't anything like us. I mean, they're different. Their mannerisms, the way they talk, the way they go about things. And it made me think, man, I was watching this, I watch shows from Nigeria, and they aren't like us. Their mannerisms are different. And I start thinking, and I watch other shows from Africa. I'm like, we aren't really like these people. Have you ever watched that shit from Africa? Watch their mannerisms, man. They aren't anything like us. They're different. You should watch those shows, man. Yeah, the Afro channel. They got all shows from Nigeria and all this shit from Namibia, South Africa. Some people aren't anything like us, man. Their whole mannerisms are different. The way they go about things. We are a unique species here on this planet. We are a hybrid race, and I think black men and women are going to have to
pressure makes diamonds. Pressure makes diamonds. Pressure turns carbon into diamonds.
Yeah, I understand. I'm just thinking, man, we're just different.
We've had an accelerated type of pressure here.
Explain. I don't get where you're going with this.
The brown and black folks in America have had a lot of pressure on like that pressure on them specifically that no one else has experienced in the world. And so that pressure, in order to thrive in that pressure, we've had to change at a much more rapid pace than other people. So now we're in this space where, we have some magic. We have some magic about us, but
we do have magic about us.
It's not something that was just in our back pocket. It's something that we got to constantly remember that
we are a different. You know what? There is no other species.
People may have hung
like the American black man. Yeah, because I remember when when I was in the army over in Europe, I was there for 4 years. And when I was over there, I noticed something, man, that you can tell an American black man from any other person. And there's Africans over there, too, right? In Europe, there's Africans, there's hybrids, there's Germans and whites. But the American black man has a walk. He has a posture. He has a way about him.
Let me know when I talk, Gary. Let me know when I can
not
talk.
this. Oh, my God. So I'm just saying that, man, we are a unique fucking species, man. And I think that's what scares other people. If we ever get our shit together, I just think we could do a lot of great things. If us, the American black man, would ever get our shit together, we can do great things, man. I mean, just look at a brother like 50 Cent. I don't even like his ass. But he could throw on a suit, and I've seen him talk, and he can do business in these corporate companies and shit. And he came from nothing. And just in one generation, his ass is doing business. Kanye West, no, I don't like him either. He's out here doing great things from where he came from.
He did it without slaves. Absolutely. Let me know when I can talk, Gary.
I'm done.
Yeah, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Hey, I appreciate both of y'all brothers, and I appreciate the platform. We got to do this again. But listen, people that's really interested in that diabetes information and supporting the movement, join the Patreon, patreon.com/Dr. EnQi. Peace and love to the family. We have to keep having these conversations. Appreciate you.
All right. All right. Hey, like always. Hey. Go ahead. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was trying to get in. Gary, how you doing tonight, Gary?
I'm good. But the minister had some things to do. But thank Minister EnQi. And like always,
is that Minister? Whoa! Was that EnQi?
Yeah. Howard, let me.
Did he hang up?
Yeah, he has somewhere to go. Let me wind down the show a little bit. I'm going to talk for a second. All right.
What about to know EnQi was on the phone? I would have called in an hour earlier to get on his ass.
Well, go ahead.
Yeah. All right.
Thank you for listening to today's broadcast, and give a shout out to Minister EnQi for coming through. Like always, subscribe to Chaos Rain channel. Make sure you hit the red button, top bell, notification for uploads or live streams on the Chaos Rain channel. You can now follow me on Twitter at Chaos Rain 7 and add me on Facebook, Eric Rain, ERICK Rain, REIGN, and add me on Discord. That link is in the About section on my YouTube channel. And like always, until next time, take care and good night.